What's up, YouTube? How are we doing, guys? It is your boy, Trey's Trades, coming back again for another video. And I know that I've dropped off the planet here for a little while, but hey, guys, I'm back. I've been taking care of my eyes. They've been in rough freaking shape. I'm not going to lie to you. I've got my glasses down here, but I wanted to show you what's going on. I've just been resting them, guys. I really have been trying to. With work, I've been outside more than I'd like to. So, honestly, my left eye is still, up and down, doing some, back and forth sort of stuff, but it's good enough right now where I can at least look at my screen for short periods of time. So I'm trying to limit my exposure and get as much stuff done as I possibly can in a short period of time. And that for today is going to be the AMC update on kind of what I think is the most important information over the last couple of days. So obviously we've had a pretty crazy sell-off, right? We've had that supplemental leveraging ratio, which I'd mentioned, stating that I think that's going to make the stock market pretty volatile and crazy over the next 2 to 4 weeks, which I do want to reiterate, which I'll get back into here as we get into the video. I've got a couple different things I want to touch on, so let's just get into this piece, the meat and potatoes, guys. I drew up a picture per usual, and this took a lot longer than I'd like to admit, but this is a picture of Monkey D. Luffy. This is from One Piece. I've actually got this guy tattooed on my calf, but I sat down and drew this up just because he's got Monkey as his first name, man, and the monkeys always win the battle. I'm so excited to watch Kong versus Godzilla. I'm going to watch that with a couple of friends on Sunday. Should be a good time, but this is how you'd spell Monkey D. Luffy in Japanese. Monkey D. Luffy. That's how you'd spell it, in case you're wondering. But anywho, a couple different things that I want to touch on here regarding AMC here today. So first piece is this, AMC Documentary. Now, I've seen that there is something going on with Andrew Mo Money. He got a deal with Netflix. I think that Uncle Bruce did as well. I'm not as interested in that, right? There's actually something that I find very fascinating that I think gives a lot of power to the community, and I really dig what's going on here. So I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. Now, what is that? This is this right here. Who wants a real documentary about what's going on? Let's make a movie. This is on Reddit about 2 days ago. I spoke with both of these gentlemen. They're actually twins, Finn and Quinn. And the big thing that they're trying to get across here, if you haven't watched this, I'm going to drop a link in the description box down below, along with some other resources, in case you'd like to check it out. But this is going to be a documentary made by the people for the people. And that is why I'm so on freaking board with this. It is about your voice. It is about your story, and I'm gonna offer some resources. Offer you some resources. I always freaking ramble when I get in the mood. But anyways, this is a very interesting opportunity where you guys get the opportunity to get your voices heard. Right now, you might be thinking to yourself, how in the world is a documentary like this ever going to compete with something like Netflix? And that's where the real freaking power comes into play here, guys. If you want to make this documentary something that people are going to watch over something on Netflix, right? What is that going to take? It's going to take it being better than Netflix. How is that possible, right? Well, Netflix tries painting a narrative. All big corporations try painting a narrative. Now, I'm pumped that Netflix is making a documentary about this whole situation with AMC and GameStop, right? But how we can differentiate that is by getting the voices heard by the people. You guys get to decide what they talk about here. You guys get to decide the narrative, right? He's got some great credentials. He's done some good things in his life. In case you want to check that out, there is that long list right here. But this is something that I'm 100% on board with. I'm going to be contributing to this. I'm actually going to be meeting up with both of these guys to do an interview and contribute to this process, contribute to this project, I should say, that I think is something we can control, right? I know we are all sick of AMC in the sense that there's a lot of uncontrollables, right? We can't control the price action. We can't control what hedge funds do. We can't control the day-to-day, failure to delivers, the naked shorts, or the synthetics as people call them, right? We can't control a lot of things. This we can control, right? We can contribute to this as something that we get to do and make our voices heard, right? So that's the big thing that I want to walk away with this documentary opportunity, is that it's an opportunity for the community, right? That's a huge freaking part of my channel, guys, is community, right? I give a shit about this channel, and I give a shit about the people, right? So if you guys want your voices to be heard, I know that I do. This is something you can contribute to, and I'll give you the resources down below if you want to check that out. Anywho, that's the first piece that I wanted to talk about. And we're going to get into this 500 million share dilution piece, as well as the supplemental leveraging ratio. Now, I talked about this in one of my previous videos, but in case this is your first time watching the Trey's Trades channel, we're just going to go over this for you here really briefly. So starting off here with this 500 million share dilution, right? I've seen this all over the news. I haven't been on the computer as much. With work today, I wasn't allowed to have my phone on me due to circumstances. But anywho, this has been a hot topic for today and a cause of a lot of FUD. Now, what is FUD? It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? And fear, uncertainty, doubt favors bears. This plays into bears' hands because it causes fear, uncertainty, doubt, as I just mentioned, which causes people to sell off. When there's uncertainty in the market, it usually, you don't want to be holding something that you don't know a lot about, so it sells off. That's the natural reaction of the market, right? And this was played into by the media's hands, right? So the media, news sources, I think Webull actually got a news article out on AMC pretty much immediately that day they released it. Let's see if I can just find it really quick here. Yeah, so here we go. Look at this. AMC shares slide. A CEO says he will seek shareholder approval for 500 million share offering, and then immediately, not even immediately, like 2 hours later, puts out this correction saying AMC might issue 500 million share offering, right? So essentially what this is information that we already knew. We already knew that there was the possibility of a 500 million share dilution, that the company was trying to create 500 million more shares to dump into the market, and this was completely blown out of proportion by media, news sources, CNBC, the whole 9 yards here. I mean, they were just trying to find goddamn Subway. They're trying to find every single way to scare the crap out of regular, everyday investors, right? And by doing so, they succeeded. They sold the stock off an immense amount. And what I want to offer you guys is a little bit of clarity, right? So what about this news release? What about what happened on the news today is different than what we already knew, right? We've talked about this on the channel. I know this has been spreading across Reddit boards, Discords, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. We already knew there was a possibility of a 500 million share dilution, right? We knew that. So what's happening here is you have recirculation of information that we already knew. Now, if we dug into that information and we deemed it at the time not significant enough to affect the squeeze in the short term, right? And let alone, it might not even be enacted. Why does it matter now? It doesn't. It straight up does not matter. The FUD is what's playing into the stock here, right? That's news that is irrelevant in my personal eyes. And the CEO, from my understanding, take this with a grain of salt, as I am not a financial advisor, yada, 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 the whole spiel. But according to my Discord, right, some people in my Discord who I talked with, some people I trust pretty deeply, the CEO actually stated that they wouldn't even issue these shares right away, right? It's just an opportunity for them. They want to sit on those for, a possibility of an acquisition in case they need to raise some capital, right? They might not even enact these shares right away, that 500 million share dilution, which I've actually talked about, right? I connected the dots here and made an example with the company BioLace, B-I-O-L. Now, BioLace is a company that I have invested in the past, and there was a scare with them of a potential split, right? A reverse split, which is typically a sign of weakness in a company. Well, guess what? The shareholders got to vote yes or no on that reverse split. And they voted no, and it didn't pass, and the company stayed exactly as it was, right? Same thing is potentially possible here with AMC and this 500 million share dilution. That's why we had that proxy vote. That's why we had the opportunity to get our voices heard, right? And whether it passes or it doesn't, that's, only one person can contribute to their personal opinion. That's entirely up to us, you as an individual person. But what I'm saying is, this is not new news. This is not warranting the sell-off that we saw. It was completely played into the hands of news media sources, right? They were trying to scare people. They say it all the time. They say, AMC, dumb money. Whoa, what are you guys doing? You're gonna lose everything. I mean, come on, guys. That 1 cent price target. Get out of here. Get out of here. My stance on this is the exact same. And the CEO, the company, the founder of this company, I shouldn't say the founder, but the executive officer of this company, right? The company executive officer, he is not going to come onto news sources and try and speak the truth about this not acquisition, but this dilution, the 500 million share dilution, if it's not for good purpose, right? So I'm not personally worried about this. I don't think you should be either. In fact, I just think it's an opportunity to buy for cheaper. I always see people saying this. I always see people saying, man, I wish this would dip so that I could buy more shares. This is the opportunity, my friends, and I'm telling you that. Now, I know that the price action on AMC lately has been a dump. It's been in a downward trend for a couple days. Honestly, I think it's been like 2 straight trading weeks, with a couple of, asterisks where it does, have some slight green days, but it's been tough, and I understand that. But this is where, it gets tough, right? When you're holding on green days, that's easy, right? It's easy to hold on green days. When it's red, it's really easy to give in to that FUD, that fear, uncertainty, doubt, and feel like all hope is lost. But keep this in the grand scheme of things, right? If we are, an end goal here is a squeeze of some sort, why are you sweating over $1 to $2 drops when you are going to be looking at an upside of $10 to $100 to $500 to $1,000 to $2,000. I mean, who knows? I'm not going to give you a hard price target on this. I personally believe that this can reach some astronomical numbers depending on apes, depending on how long we want to hold. It's entirely up to us and up to you, right? But you shouldn't be sweating these $1 to $2, drops if the grand scheme of things, you're looking at a much larger price target than that $1 to $2 range, right? I think back all the time and I think, man, I wish that I'd bought more when it was at $5. This might present an opportunity for you. It might not. I'm not saying it's going to drop to $5. I personally think the floor is going to be somewhere around $8.50, $9. We'll wait and see what ends up happening. But nonetheless, right, you shouldn't be sweating these small fluctuations when you're looking at the grand scheme of things and you've seen how violent the moves can get. So the next thing I want to talk about is the supplemental leveraging ratio, right? The SLR. Now, I put over this in great detail in a previous video. And essentially what this is you've got big banks, right? Big bank right here who is able to leverage and lend out more cash, right? So big bank right here sends out some money to Hedgie. Hedgie over here decides he wants to leverage either long or short. I would think more short than long just based on bond yields. If you want to check that out, check it out in the previous video. But they were able to leverage a huge amount of cash, right? They sent out a crap ton of money to these hedge funds and they abused it. They went short on the market in a lot of different stocks. Well, what ended up happening is you've got, this new rule that's ending on March 31st. Now, I don't know the exact date. Keep that in the back of your mind. This is something that you could dig into more. I just want to give you the basis, the round overview, as I'm not spending a lot of time on the computer right now. But from my understanding, right, this March 31st date is not the exact day in which this is all over. That's the day that it expires. Now, there's usually a grace period for legislation and policies like this, so it could take anywhere between 7 to 14 days for this to actually take effect, which is why in my video, you can go back and backtrack it and check it out. I stated that 2 to 4 weeks is about what I'm expecting the stock market to take a big volatile crap. A big shit, man. And I think it's going to be crazy. I think you're going to see blue chip stocks that tank. I think you're going to see the meme stocks start to do some crazy stuff. And I'm not going to give you any hard, dates. I think on that freaking Tyler Wilson video, I watched that today, man. That was that got me laughing a little bit. But that's why I'm not giving hard dates. But anyways, I think in 7 to 14 days, you're going to be looking at this SLR rule, which is no longer going to be in effect, right? Which is going to affect not just AMC, but the market as a whole, which is why I think you're going to be looking at the potential for a pretty harsh correction in your blue chip, normal blue collar stocks, and your meme stocks could potentially have a squeeze because what happens when this leveraging ratio ends, right? Well, they get margin calls, right? And they get accounts closed. They get positions closed. That would include both short positions and long positions. What happens if you close a long position with a crap ton of liquidity? It plummets. It tanks. What happens if you cover back, you force a hedge fund to cover on a short position? That means they're buying back, which drives the price up. So it sounds crazy. It sounds nuts. But what would happen then is, hypothetically speaking, you'd have huge blue chip stocks, which take a big dump. They go down a huge amount, like Viacom. And then you'd have your meme stocks like AMC, GameStop, maybe Cost, maybe a couple other ones that go crazy high. They go to the moon, right? And I don't think this is off the table yet. It hasn't happened yet, obviously. I mean, I've seen some brief news articles. I remember talking about this last Saturday. And then on Monday, I saw the news, the media, saying that other hedge funds were starting to get liquidated. And I just rubbed my hands like this. So I was thinking, man, we freaking called it. And that's just the beginning, guys. I'm telling you, I feel very, very confident this SLR is going to play into the entire market. And that should directly affect AMC, right? I'm just telling you, based on what I've read and based on what other people have read, that the dots seem to connect pretty freaking well. I don't even think this is speculative. I mean, that's just hard legislation that ended, right? There's nothing speculative about this. That just is what it is. So that's the last thing that I want to touch on right here with the recent news and happenings with AMC. And then I want to finish this off with a personal story. Now this hits home for me a little bit, and I don't want to get in the feelings or whatever, but I'm just gonna dig into this. So I've got two pops, right? My stepdad and my father. Father is still alive, great guy, absolutely love him. I have my stepdad, who I considered my father. He raised me, right? I didn't meet my biological dad until I was about 13 years old. Well, anywho, my stepdad passed away about 5 years ago. Life-changing experience, right? Before that happened, I was about 13 years old, and I was a huge avid runner. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know this, that my journey to stocks is pretty atypical. This was not my game plan from a young age, right? As I don't think it is for many people, but nonetheless, I got into stocks with a pretty backdoor way. I was a huge runner. I couldn't run anymore because of some health complications, as you guys know, and I transitioned into the next competitive edge for me, which was investing. Anywho, my dad, right? When I was 13 years old, I had no self-confidence. I didn't know what the heck I would do. I didn't know, how far running would take me. And he said, son, I think you're going to be able to run a 4-minute mile someday. And I will never forget that day, because that was the day in which I gained confidence in everything in the world, man. I thought I could do anything. And I transitioned this, man. I took this from a 4-minute mile to I can qualify for the Olympic trials in the marathon. When I couldn't do the marathon anymore, I transitioned this to I can start a successful YouTube channel. When that started taking off, I transitioned this to someday I'm going to make $1 million. To now it is, right? I think that we are going to make AMC happen. I am part of a bigger cause here, and I'm going to put every single ounce of freaking energy that I have into contributing to this cause, right? What is my takeaway from this personal story? Right? It's not supposed to be some big sappy story. What I am telling you is you can borrow confidence from other people. I just got off a podcast with a guy named Jared Scott, and the dude is I'm so glad we had that conversation because it was really eye-opening for me with a lot of things. And something he told me is you can borrow confidence, right? You can basically take a loan on confidence when you don't feel like you have it. So what do I mean by that, right? For me, that was my dad, right? I didn't have the confidence in myself to be a good runner, and him telling me that I could run a 4-minute mile eventually led me to be able to run crazy distances like 20 miles at 5:35 pace, or I eventually ran a mile in 4:24, or I think my best race I ever had was a 10 mile in like 50 minutes and 40 seconds, right? He led me to that moment in my life, and it's because he borrowed me his confidence. Now, how can you apply this to AMC, right? So if you don't have confidence in AMC right now, and the due diligence that you've done, the research that you've done, right, the numbers that you've crunched, the numbers that other people have crunched, you need to find that confidence somewhere else, right? Maybe it's a certain moment in your life. Maybe it's like contributing to a greater cause. It's really easy to give up on ourselves, but really hard to give up on other people, right? So where am I going with this is find that confidence. What does this mean for you? I can't tell you that answer, right? You need to find it for yourself. But if you don't have the confidence right now in yourself, in the cause and the numbers that you've done, maybe you find the confidence in other people. Maybe you find cause in contributing to a good thing, right? The 2008 crash caused by the 1%, caused by hedge funds, caused by the big wigs that say, piss on you little guys, we're going to keep stealing and stealing and stealing. Same thing happening again. Maybe this means for you that you are contributing to a redistribution of wealth from the 1% back to the 99, right? Maybe that's your confidence. Maybe your confidence is you've got, a terminally ill mother or grandmother or family member who gives you this confidence and says, son or daughter, I think you can do whatever you need to do in life. And you take that confidence and you move it into something else, right? Make this freaking personal, not emotional, but personal, right? Make this something that matters to you. Make it something that you feel like contributes to a greater purpose than just yourself. And that is how I view this. I'm telling you, I always come back to that moment that my dad told me I could run a 4-minute mile. Because what did that do for me? It gave me the confidence that I can do whatever the hell I want to do in life. I'm going to take that forward with me for the rest of my life. Find that moment for you. Find that borrowing of confidence if you don't have the confidence right now, right? You can apply that to any freaking thing in life. And I think AMC is a huge situation and example right now, my friends. And I'll tell you what, on my low days with AMC, I remember my freaking old man. I'm never going to forget him. I never am. I'm never going to forget that moment. I'm never going to forget the way he made me feel. I'm never going to forget that confidence and the man that he turned me into. And find that moment for yourself. I know that was a freaking ramble, guys, but if you come to my channel, you know what you're getting yourselves into. So I apologize. But nonetheless, that is my takeaway for the AMC video here today. I know that we kind of went over some broad topics. It wasn't as in-depth as we usually go, but I wanted to at least get something out to you guys because something is better than nothing. And I want to touch base with the community out here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. That was what I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel. And consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull. It is a brokerage platform that I use. Opens up at 3 a.m. The pre-market goes until 7 p.m. If you use my link, you get 2 free stocks with a $100 deposit. I will receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel, my friends. And if you're not interested, that is totally fine. I just appreciate your support by taking the time to watch my videos. I should wear my glasses more often. I always forget. I also have a link to the merch store if you want to check that out. We sell some hoodies, t-shirts, yada, yada, yada. You can check it out. If not, that's cool too. And to my own personal Discord, if you want to check that out, it's full of a great community of investors. A lot of awesome stuff happening in here. I'm just going to pull up a new link because that's never going to load. But a great community of investors. We've got a lot of good stuff happening in here. If you want to check that out, it's $5 a month for the Patreon. Great community. We've got a lot of different stuff happening in here. We actually just added something new. It is an AI stock bot, which gives you real-time updates to news, block trades, insider trading, option sweeps, some options opportunities, right? If you want to check any of that stuff out, it interests you in the least bit, feel free to hop on. We keep it nice and cheap so everybody can join the community and the Gorilla Gang, baby. So that is what I've got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. My friends, my family, my fellow Gorilla Gang. Catch y'all in the next one, and peace.